Hi, my name is Adlina Jamaluddin, 198913, and I'm with Wong Ming Min, 196144. And today we are going to present about processed contaminants in vegetable oil and food. So the case study that we get is from EFSA regarding raising public health concerns about processed contaminant in vegetable oils and food, especially in palm oil. So the first fact that we get from this article is there are glycerol-based processed contaminants found in palm oil, and the ideas that we get is it may come from excessive usage of pesticide in palm oil plantation or during processing line. So we want to know how is the glycerol-based processed contaminant present in palm oil, and what are the limits for pesticide usage in all palm plantation. The actions that we will take is to identify the hazard and conduct risk assessment to study the risk of exposure of public towards the hazard. Then determine the risk characterization of each contaminant. The second fact that we get is it raise potential health concern for consumers, especially for the young age group. And this product may contain harmful substances, but the public doesn't know about the risk of the contaminants, especially for young age group. So we want to know why is it a potential health concern and why does it affect young age group the most. We will identify what causes the potential health concern and get the right information from the online source. And the third fact is harmful substances formed during food processing, especially when refining vegetable oil at high temperature, are GE, 3 MCPD and 2 MCPD, and also their fatty acid esters. So the idea that we get is harmful substances occur during processing. High temperature may be the triggering critical point. So we want to learn what are the TDI of each substances and what causes the formation of the substances and how to reduce those substances residue in the final product. So the action that we will do is to study the TDI for 3 MCPD, 2 MCPD, and the fatty acid esters and identify what are the adverse effects of these contaminants for human consumption.
So right now I will continue with risk assessment. For the first hazard identification, we identify there are 3 contaminants contained in the vegetable oils and food, which is the GE, glycidyl fatty acid esters, 3 MCPD, 3 monochloropropane and 2 MCPD, 2 monochloropropane. And what are the adverse effects of consuming these 3 contaminants in our food? GE are broken down in the human body, releasing glycidol, which will damage to human genetic material, and that's why it is labeled as carcinogenic. For 3 MCPD and 2 MCPD, the adverse effects are almost similar, which can affect the kidney and may cause cancer. Next. For hazard characterization, there's no TDI for GE because it is labeled as carcinogenic, and the TDI for 3 MCPD is 0.8 microgram per kg body weight per day, while there's insufficient data for 2 MCPD TDI, and we could not get any information from the EFSA or any trusted sources. Next. For our exposure assessment, we try to conduct the exposure risk assessment for all these contaminants, but we are lack of information needed. Although we can obtain the consumption data from the reference Nutrition Survey 2003 and concentration of contaminants in food from online sources, it is still difficult to determine the actual exposure risk of public towards the hazard. This is because vegetable oils is always used to cook with other food and is not consumed as a one. So there's no way we can determine the amount of vegetable oils used during the cooking. Therefore, we took the data from trusted sources, which is EFSA, to give a correct information in the presentation. So, based on EFSA, the average consumption of palm oil is 17.8 grams per capita per day, whereas for young adults, it's ranging from 23 5 gram to 68 gram per day. So now let's go to the risk characterization. For the vulnerable groups, for example, those kids, the pregnant women, or the elderly, EFSA concluded that average exposure levels for infants and toddlers and children under the age of 10 are higher than the TDI. For general group, EFSA has concluded that glycidial esters pose a potential health concern for consumers with high levels of exposure regardless of their age group. So that is all for our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.